UFC 294 sucked. Even with Islam Makhachev getting a TKO win versus Volkanovski, nobody saw that coming. We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll talk about Chimaev getting a win against Usman as well too, a majority decision. But first, let's start off with Johnny Walker versus Ankalaev. Johnny Walker didn't do himself any favors. The doctor asked him, do you know what country you're in? And he didn't answer. Now, that could be part of the stadium was so loud he didn't really exactly hear the ref. It was premeditated nonetheless. He stopped the fight. It goes to a no contest. Johnny Walker was my underdog pick. I know it sounds crazy. And at that very moment, it may have looked like the fight wasn't going his way. He goes for a flying knee. He almost lands it. Imagine if he did. Nonetheless, that's a no contest fight. Then we head on to Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev. I called it. And I started to doubt my own pick because in the first round, Chimaev has Usman's back for about 3 to 4 minutes. So my initial thought was, oh, he's going to get the rear naked choke. Chimaev is supposed to be this dominant fighter as far as if he gets you to the ground, he's going to choke you out. Usman doesn't have the same jiu-jitsu as Gilbert Burns, but if he gets Usman down, I think most of us thought he would get the rear naked choke. And he just couldn't find it. Second round, Usman lands a couple big punches, and then in round number 3, Chimaev gets a takedown in like the last minute and a half. Close fight. It was a majority decision win for Chimaev. It's kind of interesting though, because although he beats Usman by the skin of his teeth, I think he beats Sean Strickland. If I had to guess that fight. Now, that is a 5-round fight. And once again, Chimaev, his biggest problem that I think is going to cost him in the end, hasn't yet, but already 2 times already almost happened. That gas tank. It seemed like he was tired, fatigued, and if there was a round 4 or round 5, I doubt he would have won. And I think it's fair to say that most people feel the same way. Chimaev has a problem with his gas tank, and he sells out for takedowns. If a fighter could stop him from getting takedowns, he could get the win. And that's the problem with Chimaev. And he hasn't paid for it yet, but maybe in a 5-round fight he does. So perhaps he loses against Sean Strickland. We'll see, but that's supposed to be the next fight for the title. Weird times as far as the UFC, the no contest for Johnny Walker, the Chimaev majority decision. And last but not least, Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski. Now, people thought it was going to be a close fight, especially after the first fight, right? I mean, maybe most thought that it would be a back and forth fight. Most felt that Makhachev would still win, especially with the factors. Again, we talk about the 11 days notice. We talk about the surgery. Volkanovski still taking the fight. In hindsight, many felt huge mistake by Volkanovski. My argument is that if he doesn't take the fight this time, and this is something Volkanovski said, maybe he doesn't get that shot in the future. And that's why he took the fight. I don't blame him for taking the fight, but a beautifully placed head kick for Islam Makhachev. He wobbles Volkanovski and he stops him in the first round. The reason why I say this card sucked is because I wanted to see more. I know it's impressive that Makhachev got the knockout. He was silencing the crowd doing one of these things in front of the whole stadium. Place was going crazy. But 5 out of 10 card, because as a fan, I wanted to see more. After the first fight, I was expecting fireworks. And it was like only one firework that went off, and that was a head kick, and then it was all over. I wanted to see better fights. I got an Ankalaev no contest. I got a Chimaev majority decision. Almost at that point, I wish Chimaev would have got a rear naked choke, even though I said a decision for Khamzat Chimaev. And then Makhachev versus Volkanovski. First fight was a war. I'm assuming the second time it happens again, and it's a head kick TKO finish for Makhachev. Overall, the card kind of sucked.